JG Invest here. So today we're actually going to be talking about a recovery stock that I've been in and out for a pretty long time. We're just going to talk about some keynotes. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward stock and a pretty straightforward company. But we're going to talk about like potential gains. A lot of people have been sleeping on this one. I'm not sure why. But if all goes well and everything goes on track, I mean, it's going to be a big one. So it's actually Carnival Corp, so ticker CCL. So on the 1 year, it's actually up 163%. The first time I got into this stock was about like August of 2020. I think it was around like $13. It's currently sitting at $26.86. It did have an all-time high of $30.12 recently, last month actually. Company was founded in 1972, based out of Miami. The stock used to be worth about $70 before the pandemic. So I'm surprised a lot more people didn't think about this one. That being said, we are kind of at that ceiling cap where it trends between 25 to about 30, and then it just waves up and down from there. I started telling the Discord members to get into it back in like January or February, when it was still around like I think it was like the $20 mark. Let's double check though. Yeah, so around the $20 mark. It did dip to like $18.50 at the end of January, and it's just been climbing since then. So good re-entry point for the Discord members. That being said, guys, do me a favor, subscribe and hit the like button, and let's move forward. So stock was about $70, dropped to about $7, obviously back in the pandemic. Companies had about 30% growth over the last 4 years before the world went to shit. 2019 net income was about $2 billion. Cash on hand is about $10.5 billion. So it's pretty decent. It's about $600 million per month in what their cost is right now. So they do have some time and wiggle room before anything's kind of like a big concern. Now, with vaccinations coming up and more people getting vaccinated, especially in the U.S., like they're really ramping up vaccinations pretty quickly. Their expectation of the world going back to normal is supposed to be like June, I think they said. So, I mean, even if we're a little bit more conservative, let's say by the end of the year, the stock starts ramping up again. So lots of time, they got the cash in order to sustain themselves until then. There's huge upside potential still. Is it going to shoot up to 70 again? Potentially, but not right away. I do think that it can go from like 30 to the $55 range pretty quickly. As soon as the doors open, they start getting sales again. I know back when they had rapid testing first coming out, CCL like spiked like crazy, and then it was like 5 days later that the rapid testing wasn't super accurate, and then it just tanked again. But right now we're at that stable sweet spot between 25 to 30, and it's not really going down or up from there. So it's a good one that you can kind of just swing a part of your position, cash and profits, rebuy, and play around until it does blow up. That being said, I think we're getting pretty close to where this stock's going to start ramping up, right? With vaccinations coming in place, businesses reopening, primarily out of the United States. If it was Europe, I think it'd be a little bit more difficult, especially with the current time frame where Europe's starting to get increased cases. Well, certain parts of Europe anyways. But based out of Florida, Caribbeans, I think it should be okay. 30 seems to be that ceiling. So our re-entry point was, I think, on that last dip around the $25 mark. It's currently sitting at $26.86. Just to give you guys a quick rundown, on the 1 day, it was up 1.21%. On the 5 day, it's up 2.36%. The 1 month it's down 2%, considering what happened with Nasdaq and everything. Considering how Nasdaq went down and the yields and everything, the stock really didn't drop that much, right? We went up to 30. We did cash profits there, and then we rebought and re-entered. And at this point now, we really don't want to sell this position. We'll sell maybe part of it for profits, cash in, and then rebuy or refill. 6 month chart, it's still up 80%, which is fantastic. Year to date, it's almost 32%. And the 1 year, like we mentioned, is 163%. So they have equity, obviously the cruise ships and everything. They do have some additional cash in case if whatever the pandemic continues longer, they can always sell off some of the ships. Will the stock drop once they start doing that? Yeah, of course. But there's a little bit of a safety blanket with CCL. Back in 2020, sometime, I can't remember, they did end up finding a Saudi partner that put in quite a bit of money to be a part owner of the company, and that really gave it a lot more stability. And that's where you start to see way more ramping up on the company. I bought in super early last year, and it was a little nerve-wracking solely because of what was going on with cruise ships. There was a lot of talk about cruise ships going bankrupt, specifically CCL. But I went in. I didn't go super heavy, but it was still a decent chunk. And now with the Saudi partner, who gave them additional cash flow, he's now involved. There's just way more stability, and the timing just seems too good to be true. Where the world's starting to get better, vaccinations are ramping up. It's based out of the U.S. It's also traded in the Britain market as well. So you have a little bit of balance there. So there's a lot of good. I really do think we're at that point now where if you don't buy in over the next couple of months, you're going to look at the stock and it's going to be like 35 and then 40 as soon as everything starts going back to normal, and then you're kind of missing the boat. Yeah, pun not intended. So I would highly recommend that if you guys don't want to go heavy right now and you're not sure about it, at least open a decent position, and then you can kind of fill along the way on the dips. Again, right now it's 26.86. Hasn't really dropped too much. I think in the last 5 days it's been $25. And yeah, even on the 1 month chart, it's only dropped to 24.85. So good entry point. If you wait a little bit, you might save $1 on it, but there's way more potential upside than there is downside on this stock. Don't expect huge swings or huge growth like your EV sectors or biopharmacy and things like that. It's a recovery stock. It's slow, steady growth. Everyone should have a couple of these in their portfolio anyways. I really do think they should look into CCL. And yeah, I think time-wise, you just can't go wrong. Other than that, guys, pretty quick video on CCL. If you want to join Discord, links down below, and we'll go from there. I got a couple other stocks that we're going to be working on, ChargePoint, things like that. So yeah, do me a favor, guys, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.